Yo, what is going on? What is going on? Facebook Live people, my peeps, Changemakers. It's your man, Coach Toby J. And I am super excited that you have joined me for this third episode of the Changemaker Playbook podcast. Well, not podcast, live edition. It was a podcast at one point. And now I'm just turning it into like a live edition. And so, hey, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go live. We live on Facebook. We live on YouTube. For those of you who don't know, the YouTube channel is actually Changemaker Playbook. You can go on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because these videos or these lives on Facebook, they go away in 30 days. Okay. So it's important that you go and join the YouTube page, Changemaker Playbook. That's where all these videos will be posted, and they will be housed there as long as YouTube exists. Okay. And I hope everybody's doing good tonight. I know it's Wednesday night, the first night, NBA Finals. It don't start till 8:30. It's 8 o'clock Eastern where I'm located at. So I'm just hoping, I'm going to get done before then. I probably will. Game probably don't start till like 8:40 probably. You know what I mean? And so, but I got something for you tonight. I really got something for you tonight. The last two episodes, I've kind of been very structured in what it was I was talking about and what it was I was wanting to talk about and present to you. So I was very structured in the first two episodes. And tonight, I'm really going to come from the heart. Okay. I'm going to come from the heart tonight. It's going to almost sound like, is he winging it? I'm not winging it. I'm just coming from the heart. Okay. And I'm sitting on my couch tonight. Got a new little background, little banner behind me. And I'm going to explain this here in a minute as I'm talking about what I'm going to talk about tonight, which is change being the breeding ground for growth. No, we're going to talk about change within you. Out of all four of the changes that we're going to talk about, this one right here is the one that is the most important. We talked about, let me go ahead and throw these up here. I want to go ahead and throw these up here. I want to get started. With this tonight. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and throw the first two that we talked about up here. The first one was change that happens to you, unexpected or anticipated change that affects our personal lives, families, or career. That was the first one we talked about, if you remember. Now I'm actually going to change these up a little bit. Instead of saying change that happens to you, there's four dimensions of a change maker. Change that happens to you, I'm going to shift that to change that finds you. Okay, that's important. That was the first one. The last episode, we talked about the second one, which I'm going to show you here, which was change that happened around you. Okay. Unexpected or anticipated change that affects our society, nation, or world, and has some impact on us personally or on our way of life. Go back and watch the last episode. Again, it's on YouTube. Okay. Now, tonight, I want to talk about the third one. And here it is. Change that happens within us. Unexpected or anticipated change that directly affects who we are. Either physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. Change that happens within us. Okay. Now, I did say I was going to kind of change the wording of these. The first one, I said it's change that happens to you. Changing it up to, okay, I'm going to change that to, it's the shift that finds you. Okay, the shift that finds you. The second one, change that happens around you. We're going to change that up to the shift that happens around you. But I just put up on the screen just now about change that happens within us. We're going to change that to the shift that happens within us. Okay, now there's also the fourth one. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the fourth one tonight. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I'm gonna have this own dedicated live just for the fourth one, which is change initiated. Okay, but if you're tuning in, as you notice, I got a little background behind me now. Changemaker Playbook, and on each side there's four strategic elements to each one of these. Okay, the first one, the shift that happens or the shift that finds you, okay? Respond right there. Respond. This is the one where you respond. Respond to the shift that finds you. That's important. Go back and watch the first episode. If you missed it, go back and watch it. We talked about reacting and responding to when change blindsides you. It knocks you, it knocks you off guard. It knocks the breath out of you. It shows up unexpected. The next one right there, recognize. Recognize. Recognize the shift around you. You got to have some awareness. Grow. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Grow. Grow through the shift that happens in you. Okay. And then that last one right there, lead. Lead simply is lead the change that you're called to create. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Respond, recognize, grow, lead. Tonight, I'm going to talk about grow because the breeding ground, change is the breeding ground for growth. A lot of people don't like change, right? A lot of people don't like it, but it's the breeding ground for growth. And tonight, I am going to talk about my personal journey as it kind of relates to all of these and how I got right there. And why I am where I am today. And it has to do with change. Change I wasn't expected. I wasn't expecting it. Okay? 3/9/2020. I'm gonna jump right into this. 3/9/2020. I had a very, man. That day was a day I will never forget. I'm just telling you. I remember people used to say, you know, I would hear people speak and they talk about, I remember it was February 2nd, 1955. And I'm like, you don't remember. You don't remember the exact date like that. Well, now I know why people can remember exact dates. Because what the events that took place on that date, man, stay in your mind for a long time, maybe forever. And so the events that happened to me on 3/9/2020 is why I want to share, is what I'm going to share with you. And listen, I'm not sharing this because I'm looking for some type of sympathy. I'm not sharing this because I'm looking for some type of you to have some pity on me. Nah. I'm sharing this because I believe that my life, my story, and my journey has the ability, man, to encourage somebody, to impact somebody's life. And if that's the case, I don't have a problem with sharing my story. I don't have a problem with it at all, with sharing my story, especially when I know I'm in the mourning season of my story. Toby, what are you talking about? The Bible says weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. See, I can share my story with you because I'm in the mourning season of it. There was a time when I couldn't really share my story with people because I was in that nighttime, that weeping may endure for a night. I was in the enduring season of my life. That weeping season, that emotional season, that am I going to make it season? And some of you know what I'm talking about. The people who's watching, the people who go back and watch this, you know what I'm talking about. When some of you in there right now, where you're in the night season of your life and you're enduring, you're just surviving, you know, you're weeping, you don't know how you're going to get through the day. You don't know how you're going to survive tomorrow. You don't know how you're going to do it. But the promise is that joy comes in the morning. For some of you, I believe it's about to be morning time in your life when it comes to situations and circumstances in your life, things that you're going through. It is about to become morning time in your life. Now, some of you, the morning time may come faster than others. And I'm getting ready to tell you why. Because have you ever heard somebody say, at some point, you're going to have to do this. At some point, you're going to have to do that. People who go from the night season to the morning season makes a decision that point begins now. You begin to lead change in your life. That point is now. And when you get to the point in your life where you say, I'm no longer going to stay in this night season anymore. I'm not staying here anymore. I'm not staying this night. I'm not staying in this night season anymore in my life. I am about to lead my life. And when you lead your life, morning, you start seeing the break in the day. It might not, it might still be a little cloudy, but them clouds start moving back a little bit because you're making a decision that I'm not going to allow this change, this shift that's happened in my life to keep me in a time of just weeping. Man. Listen, I've been there. I know what it's like just to weep, man, at night. And it says weeping may endure for a night, but sometimes that a night gets extended. It gets extended to Tuesday, it gets extended to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, March, April, May, June. Because some people struggle and some people don't completely get through, man, the night season. They don't get through the night season. I get around people, you've seen it. You get around people who just, they done gave up on life. You know, one of the worst emojis, I cannot stand this emoji. The emoji, the skeleton. When somebody sends you something, they send that skeleton to say, nah, it's dead. They done ashes to ashes, dust to dust on this. Now, there's some things in your life you need to ashes to ashes, dust to dust on. But then there's some things when you pronounce a funeral on some stuff, man, especially stuff that was probably meant to assist you to get to the next level of your life. That was the breeding ground. The breeding ground. Change is the breeding ground for what? For growth. It's the breeding ground for growth. Look, I went through a very, very interesting day on March 9th, 2020. I remember the fact that I just said 2020. Y'all already know. Yeah, I know one thing you probably dealt with, and it was lockdown and COVID, right? Well, on 3/9/2020, and again, I'm sharing this story because I feel like I believe this story, all of the things I'm talking about change, it's all tied up. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right now. I ain't gonna get through this one. See, I'm struggling with getting to the story. I know some of y'all sitting out there like, hurry up, get to the story. Hurry up, get to the story. Let me say this before I say anything. Change that happens within you. It's an inside job. It's an inside job. And let me put this up here on the screen so you can see. A change maker is someone who allows change to happen in them so they can help create change around them. You can't change nothing around you until you start on the inside of you. It's an inside job. If things are going crazy around you and you need things to change around you, inside job. People are anxious to change their situation, but they're unwilling to change themselves. Coach Toby J. It's easier said than done. Yeah, I feel you. I hear what you're saying. It's easier said than done. But the thing that is easier said than done is the necessary thing that need to be done. It's just not easy. It's difficult. It's going to cost you something. Man, I'm a Carolina fan, North Carolina Tar Heel fan, basketball, and for years, Carolina has, I'm going to open up the playbook on you right here, give you some strategy. Carolina has always been like this team offensively that worked from the inside out. That means they had bigs, right? So they worked from the inside out. The offense, the ball went through the bigs, and then they passed it out. And the game has done changed now. Everything's like outside. People shoot from the logo, half court, everywhere now. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But from the inside out, that's where it starts. In other words, it's in the paint area. You got to go hard in the paint. Go hard in the paint. I need somebody to put that in the comments. I'm about to go hard in the paint. What are you talking about? I'm about to work on me inside out. And as I begin to work on myself from the inside out, I'm going to see changes happen in my life. Now, listen, what I'm saying ain't like no revelation. And you probably hear this a lot. People always say you got to work on the ends from the inside out. And and just because you hear it all the time doesn't negate the fact that it's not true, or that it's true. It's true. You just not really paying attention to the very thing, or you don't want to work on the very thing that has the ability to change your situation, that has the ability to see you walk into this next playbook of your life, this next season of your life, because this next season of your life is going to require something from you, which is awareness of who you already are. Oh man, I'm gonna get into this. This is gonna be about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts on this change that happens within you. I'm telling you, it's gonna be. I'm telling you. See, I'm struggling with even getting to where I want to get to, but I'm gonna get there. Trust me, I am going to get there. There it is, Mimi. You go hard in the paint. We go hard in the paint, Mimi. And that's what we always gonna do, Miss Bird. We're gonna go hard in the paint. We're gonna work on ourselves from the inside. And the inside job is not pretty. It's not attractive, because everybody watching you from the outside, your exterior, your external, and they don't see any type change. But somewhere on the inside of you ain't the same person that you used to be. And it's just a matter of time before everybody else starts seeing it. But even if everybody else don't see it, don't matter. Oh, Lord. Look at that. My banner done fell. And we live. Look at what do you do? What do you do? See the shift. I'm glad I got on some pants, y'all. So let me put my banner back up here. Y'all laughing. This is live. Oh, this is live. Let me put my banner back up here. This is funny. I love it though. I love it. So what you do? You just make the adjustments. You just make the adjustments and keep it moving. And so that is funny. But anyway, man, oh my, that's funny. My bad. I done had that thing. That thing been up there for a long time, and it decided it's gonna fall on my live. Man, you know what they say in the church? I ain't gonna say it. They say the devil is alive. I'm gonna say it, but I ain't gonna do it. It's just fair. It might have some wind came across it. But anyway, starts on the inside. Got to go hard in the paint, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go hard in the paint. And as you go hard in the paint, meaning it's an inside job, you're going to see changes in your life. 3/9/2020. 3/9/2020, I experienced 3 basically life-changing events in one day. Yeah. Seismic to me. Listen, what I dealt with might not be critical to you. You know what I'm saying? Changes you deal with may not be catastrophic to somebody, but it might be catastrophic to you, depending on your situation. You know what I mean? On 3/9/2020, I went to work, and probably about 9:15, I get a text. And the text said that my divorce was finalized. Yep. My divorce was finalized. And in that moment, I was like, wow. You understand, like where I live, the state that I live in, you got to be separated for about a year, at least a year, before you can even get a divorce. You know what I'm saying? So I had already been separated for a year. Listen, I remember I used to tell this story. This is how I know I'm in my mourning season. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, morning, I'm talking about early morning. Because when I used to talk about this, I was like so emotional, which lets me know I done got some healing. How you doing, Eloise? What's going on? But some healings done happened in my life. And so I can tell this story and tell it with power and tell it with purpose. And so I remember I had already mentally prepared for this, right? Because Separated for a year already. So I already mentally prepared, but the thing I could not prepare for were the emotions. When change happens to you, you know what I'm saying? You either gonna react or you're gonna respond, and I couldn't respond. I mean, I couldn't sit there and prepare for the emotions that was happening on the inside of me once I got that text. I had to get up, walk outside, clear my head, get myself together. Because in that moment, and listen to me, all of us, this is going to happen to you. In that moment, all kind of thoughts was going through my head. And my situation might have been different from you, but I guarantee you deal with some of the same issue. The thoughts might be different, but it's the same thing. When stuff happens in your life, man, you get so emotional. That's right. Those emotions will get you caught up sometimes. Have you thinking crazy? Have you thinking that, you know what, you ain't gonna be able to make it? What have I done? Because you're in this place where you're more reacting than you are responding. See, reacting again is emotionally driven. Responding is leadership driven. Meaning when I respond, that means I'm about to make a decision. No matter, it might be a small decision, but I'm making the decision to say, hey, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. Now let me figure out what the next steps are. And you may not know all the steps. You may not know all the steps. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. There's times where you're just going to have to say one step at a time, whatever that may be. Now, I'm going to talk about that throughout these lives. This is the intro. I'm going to probably talk about this part right here for a minute because it's going to lead me into some other things. It's going to lead me into how I began to really discover who I am. See, change will reveal you. Change shouldn't create you. Change reveals who you are. I go outside, I was tore up. I ain't gonna lie, like, man, emotionally started thinking, I grew up in church and I've ministered, I've spoken and all these type things, and people were looking at me a certain way, and all of a sudden I started questioning my credibility as a speaker. I started questioning my credibility even as a believer. I started questioning my credibility even as a man, as a dad. All these things going through my mind, and still at the same time I gotta go back up in here and work. I was really wanting to go home that day. But my response was like, no, I still got things to do. I still got responsibility. See, that's what change does. Let me put something on the screen. Change creates a new normal in your life. And what I mean by that, a new normal is the place where change forces you to stop living from the old playbook and start becoming the person your next assignment requires. Look at that. Y'all better screenshot that. Take your phone out, screenshot that. I was getting ready to go off the screen. I'm going to put it back up here. Let me put it back up here. Let me put it back up here one more time. A new normal is the place where change forces you to stop living from the old playbook and start becoming the person your next assignment requires. So here I am, a new normal, by myself, away from my family, but yet at the same time, guess what? I have to now prepare to be the person that my next assignment requires. You hear what I'm saying to you? The person that my next assignment requires. New normal. New normals are tough. You lose somebody, right? You lose a loved one, you lose your parent, you lose your mom, you lose somebody, and now guess what you got to do? You got a new normal. They're gone. That playbook is no longer valid anymore. Now, man, I got to put this back up here one more time. Now you got to start becoming the person this new season, this new playbook. Become the person that your next assignment requires. That's tough. Because what we want to do is we want to remain back there in the old playbook, right? We want to stay there, and a lot of people get stuck back there in the old playbook. I get it. This. Listen, I'm never minimizing anybody's change. No, 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 no. There's some changes that are critical, some changes that are small. There's some changes that, you know what? Yeah, you grieve and grow, like I've been talking about. But I believe if you grieve, you can also grow at the same time. I believe that. I'm gonna get more into that the more these next few lives. But I had a new normal in my life. I go back in the building because I wanted to go home. But see, now I'm responding. You know what I'm saying? I'm responding to this new normal. I can just go home and sulk and just cry. But no, I still has it's what am I gonna do? It ain't gonna change nothing. You know, I'm gonna go home, I'm still gonna be divorced when I get home. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting my car ride home, I'm still divorced. It ain't like it's gonna change the situation. You know what I mean? I go back in, 2 hours later, I get an IM from a senior manager and manager at the time. Said, can you come to the office? To my office real quick. I go in the office. I got a promotion. I got a promotion on my job. The same day. I get a promotion on my job. I was like, look at this. My emotions was tripping. It was up and down. It was up and down. I said, okay. Okay. Get divorced. I get elevated, promoted on my job. I get home that night. And I get a call from my manager and say, hey man, don't come in the office tomorrow. Somebody might have been exposed to COVID. Like, what? So that night I was informed not to come to the office. And so basically was the beginning of lockdown for me because we start working from home. So therefore, what happened? Get the divorce. I got a divorce finalized on 3/9/2020. I got a promotion on 3/9/2020. And I was told not to come into the office on 3/9/2020 because we're about to go on lockdown. All in a matter of less than 24 hours. And I'm like, okay, this is certainly a new normal. And I remember sitting in my house that night. Man. See, here's the thing that I didn't tell you. Now I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to jump off here. I just told you the story. But what I didn't tell you is, and I didn't realize this really until just now, because sometimes you don't even realize growth is happening on the inside of you. Have you ever just been like, hey, I'm really changing? Because normally I would have acted a certain way in that situation. I remember when I first had a kind of like I told you, you had to be separated for a year in North Carolina before you get a divorce. So when I first got separated from, I had to separate from my family. I remember that first night by myself. Oh my God. Listen to me. I got to explain to you why I'm saying what I'm saying. I had never been by myself. You know what I mean? I had never been by myself up to that point. I 18 years with my mom. I go to school, got a roommate. I leave. Then from that point, I got roommates. I got roommates all after that. And then I finally get married. And so I've never been by myself. So I'm in a situation, again, a new normal in my life that I've never been in before. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever been in a situation that you never experienced before in your life? Even though other people have experienced, I get it. You ain't. And see, there's some people who they okay with living by themselves. They ain't had no problem with living by themselves. They lived by themselves before. Some people may have got divorced or went through a separation, and they was by themselves before the separation. So them being by themselves after the separation ain't no issue. No. I don't think you heard what I said. Never, ever been by myself. One of the most scariest times of my life. And you know why? Because one thing it revealed to me was I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know what it was I could do. And it was from that point where I was in the breeding ground. And as you can tell, obviously, because of you listening to me today, and you can see where I'm coming from today. So obviously, Mama Sapp had a song that says, "So glad I made it through. Spite of the storm, pain, heartaches, and pain. Still alive, declaring." Might have messed them words up. I made it through. And I just didn't go through, I grew through. And that's what I want you to do as a change maker. Don't just go through your situation, grow through it. Because see, when we're in situations, a lot of times we're always focused in on what? The situation. Why this happened to me? Why every time I take one step, I take 3 steps back? I'm gonna have it live on that one. Why you take 1 step and it's like you take 3 steps back and then you give up? Maybe it's just because, you know what, where you're heading in your life, you're not strong enough, completely strong enough, or have the capacity built up to get there quite yet. And so every time you take them 2 or 3 steps back, you learn something from it that helps you. Then when you take the first step, now you're able to take a second step. And if you get knocked back again, you're able to respond faster. What are you doing? You're building up resilience on the inside of you. I made it through. You gonna make it through too. We gonna all make it through together. Listen, like I said, I'm coming. I ain't got the last 2 episodes I had. I was scripted up, scripted, outlined. It was ready to go. I talked tonight. I'm coming from the heart. For the next few lives, I'm probably gonna come from the heart because I want to take all 4 of these changes that I've been talking about. Change that happens to you, around you, in you, and change you initiate. I want to take all 4 of those and connect them to my life story. One of the biggest, greatest values you have in your life is your story. There's people who need to hear your story. There are some people who might have showed up on here and was like, "Oh, I saw the post that Toby put out there. He talking about his divorce. Let me go on here and see if I can get some tea, or let me go on here and find out why." I ain't telling you the why. None of your business the why. The thing I'm trying to get you to see is what you can learn from the changes that I experienced in my life and what I learned from it. I learned how to what? Respond, recognize, grow, lead. And I'm going to talk about all of that within the midst of this story. That's my story. Listen, I may not be an expert in change. I may not be an expert in responding, recognizing, growing, and leading. I may not be an expert, but I know one thing I'm an expert in, and that's my story. I know one thing you're an expert in, that's your story. And when I found out in my story, it ain't nobody like Toby Patton. I have absolutely no competition when it comes to being Toby Patton. You cannot outdo me at being Toby Patton. Period. I see Brenda on here. Can't nobody outdo you, Miss Brenda. Can't nobody outdo you, Mimi, at being who you are. Can't nobody out. If you're listening and you go back and listen to me, can't nobody outbeat you or compete you when it comes to being who you are. And you are an expert in what? Who you are and your story. And sometimes that's what people listen to, right? We go listen to experts. That's why people need to hear your story. There's a way to share your story to where it begins to encourage people. It allows people. This is what it does. And I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to leave this. This is what it does. It makes people realize they're not that special. And that's a good thing. You're special from the standpoint you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Because of what I was just saying, there's nobody like you in the world. Can't nobody beat you at being you. But what you're not special in is the situation that you're going through. The situations that you've encountered in your life. You are not the only one that's ever dealt with that. See, that's why I'm going to be talking to you about over the next few weeks about how I got through this. I learned that in the midst of all this, that I was not that special, that there is somebody out here that has went through the same thing that I went through. And guess what? It's just like the person who jumps in the deep end of the pool or got pushed into the deep end of the pool and they didn't know how to swim and they was going crazy. They was enduring, they were surviving, but now somebody taught them how to thrive. Somebody taught them how to thrive in the environment in which they was once surviving in. And once I recognized that there was people out here who have thrived through a divorce, who have thrived through a promotion, who's thriving through a lockdown. Once I realized that, guess what you do? You connect. One last thing. When you're going through something, I went through a divorce. I had a divorce. I got elevation, promotion, and then I went on lockdown. Here's one thing I want you to remember. When you're going through stuff in your life, change hits you, knocks the air out of you to where you can't breathe. You feel like you can't, it's like football. You get hit, can't breathe. You're like, man, you can't breathe. Like exhale. One of the ways you exhale and get that breath back is when you start focusing in on, the positive things that change now all of a sudden has you blinded to the positive things in your life. You're so focusing on the change that you cannot see the positive things that are still happening, that are still around you. But you're so focused in on the thing that just showed up at your table and sit down without your permission, didn't even knock on your door, just walk right in. Change, just walk right in. You're so focused in on that. And wherever your emotions go, wherever you're focused. So sometimes a lot of people are emotionally a wreck. They're like a mess. And it's because of what they're focused on. If you're constantly focused in on the negative things, the shifts that's happening in your life, there are emotions attached to it. And those emotions and those things will cause you not to see the positive, the elevation that just happened at the same time. Because see, I just got an elevation. And so now I'm working from home by myself. And so now I'm more focused in on the elevation. And that was helping me get through the first part of it, which was the divorce. I got a new normal. Now I'm about to become, now I'm about to realize the person I was designed to be so that I can fulfill this next assignment in my life. Man, I love y'all. I do this because I love y'all. And I appreciate everybody who showed up. Eloise, I want to say something to Eloise because Eloise, she's from my hometown. And man, she follows me. She done a great job. To other people out there from my hometown, Jazz, Brenda, Mimi, all of y'all, people that I probably can't see that's being in and out, but I just see the ones that's commenting. Listen, I love you. And y'all change makers, just like I'm a change maker. And we grow from the inside out. That's what I'm gonna be talking about for the next few weeks. From the inside out. Love you guys. See you next week.